everyone. Welcome to Kick Assery. This guy that's sitting here right now is Dale Maxwell, and I am super pumped about the show right now. So, what is Kick Assery all about? Kick Assery is really my opportunity to take the people who just kick ass in my life, who have influenced me directly or indirectly, and this is my opportunity to talk to them right here, share them with you. They get to share their nuggets with you. I get to learn as well, and everybody is awesome and amazing. So who do we have with us this morning? So I have Seth Humphrey. So I met Seth and I go way back. We go back to I think last week.
Yeah.
So we go back to last week. So Seth was an introduction from John Mayhew. He was on here about a month and a half, 2 months ago. John and I go way back, really good buddy of mine. John reached out to me and said, you got to have Seth on your show. You got to talk to him. Seth was gracious enough to give me a half an hour or so last week. We talked on the phone. And once again, Kick Assery is about people who either directly or indirectly influence me. And just in that half an hour phone call, Seth brought up some great points, and I've been thinking on them and trying to implement them already. So with all of that, Seth, who are you? What do you do? Where do you come from? Good morning.
Morning. So, like you said, my name's Seth Humphrey. I'm originally from a little town of Macomb, Oklahoma. I have a, beautiful wife named Courtney, a 16-year-old son, just turned 16 March 6th, named Colton. I own a business here in Yukon for the last 12 years. It's kind of a one-stop shop for health and fitness. We do coaching, fitness coaching, but we have a kitchen. We have a business called Stretch U. So just a little bit across the board, just trying to make everything as simple as possible. But my real purpose is I'm a high performance coach for high performing men, and I try to help them find balance in their life. As entrepreneurs, a lot of the time we get focused in on business, and what I find is individuals have a power leak one way or another, whether that be in their fitness or it might be in their relationships, where they're so zoned in on business that they lose they're losing power in one of those areas. And so I try to plug that up so they can gain that power and be the four-dimensional man that they're designed to be.
Okay, so I love so much of what you're saying. So okay, you told me your story last week, and I really appreciate you
Uh-huh.
sharing your story. You have an incredible story on how you got to where you're at. You know, you've had a very successful past, and yet you had some things that you figured out for yourself that you had to make some
Absolutely.
adjustments and some changes.
Hmm.
So, real quick, can you kind of help us understand? I mean, where were you,
Yeah.
and what took you on that pendulum swing so that we can understand a little bit? Because a lot of times when we're looking at highly successful people like yourself who are then coaching and managing other highly successful people, we kind of, and I'm not saying it's right, but we kind of put you guys up on this pedestal. You know, you're
Yeah.
kind of like
I, it,
untouchable. You know.
I do the same thing with other individuals, and comparison's the thief of joy. The deal is we're all the same. So for me, I was in college. I got in a little bit of trouble in college, and that was a sign that I needed to get out. Once I got in that trouble, I left, and I left my girlfriend at the time, which became my wife, and I moved to Yukon, Oklahoma, and I got this opportunity in this gym, and I knew that that was my passion. I knew I wanted to own a gym one day. I started learning the infrastructure I started learning the groundworks, how everything worked. And then I was training a guy, and he came to me and was like, "Hey man, I see how hard you work. How much would it cost you to own this whole thing?" And I was like, I was at the time I was working for a buddy, and we'd always talked about potentially being partners, but I was kind of wanting 1 foot in the water, 1 foot out. I didn't want to go all in. And then this guy, he hit me up. His name's Kenny, and I was training him. He had lupus and had all kinds of issues, and I'd helped him build his body back up. And he was like, "What would it take for you to own your own facility?" And I said, well, let me reach out to Cam, who owned the business, and that was in 2007. Cam gave me an offer, and Kenny took the money, put it in the bank, and let me have a loan for that. So that was my first blessing. And this all happened because I followed my gut. I knew I had to leave college. I knew that the small college town, was just going to get me in trouble. I was still living the college lifestyle I was graduated. So that was in 2006. 2007, I started working, and then December of 2007, I actually was able to buy the facility. Busted my butt, and was always felt like I was hitting a ceiling. Could never get past this number in my head that I thought would be the number. And I remember it was June of 2013. I got on a phone call with a couple of guys in the fitness industry, Luca Hosevar and Steve Krebs, and I got on a phone call with them, and they were just speaking my language. It was Facebook ad I saw, and they were just speaking my language, and I could tell that I definitely wanted to work with them. And next thing I know, I was sitting in the office, and I remember the Aaron Hernandez, Patriots tight end. He had just got in trouble and just been arraigned, and I was kind of watching that, and I was watching that on the TV, and that was the first step that hiring a coach that's what did it for me. That kind of pushed everything, pushed that wall down. Next thing you know, my business started growing like crazy, and I finished 2013 doing really, really well. 2014, I decided, hey, you know what? If I hit 43%, if I grow my business 43%, that'd be $500,000 in sales. There's no way I couldn't be happy. There's no way that won't make me happy. And I was still young and naive and dumb, and I hit that number. I grew my business 43%. I hit that
Wow.
number. I won all kinds of awards from my franchise at the time, and but I was lost. I was miserable. I was the heaviest I'd ever been. I didn't know what my purpose was before. It was just to make money, make money, make money, and I wasn't happy. And the same coaches I'd seen go through a change in and it was in November of 2014. I'd seen these same coaches, especially Steve Krebs, go through a change, and we had a mastermind, and that mastermind was in Miami, and I was sitting in that mastermind, and he gave me an opportunity, and he brought it up and said, "Hey, I'd like for you to take some of you fitness entrepreneurs, and I want to teach you what I've learned." And I jumped on it. I remember it was $2,500 for like a 3-day event, and I didn't hesitate. I invested in it immediately. From there, that event, I went to that event in January of 2014 or 2015, and that event opened my eyes. It changed everything for me. And I remember sitting it was in San Diego. I remember sitting in the airport. I was texting my mom and my sister and all my loved ones. I was letting them know how much I love them and how grateful I am for them. And my sister texted me back and said, "Mom and Dad are separating." And they'd been together for 35 years. And my dad was a male entrepreneur. And it was at that point that I felt like it was like slapped upside the head. Like, I don't know if you've ever been and I'm kind of goosebumps right now, but I don't know if you've ever been through something where it was like, you're here for a reason. This is the reason that you came to this event. And I realized that I was my father. I was kicking the can. I thought business was the most important. I kicked the can and didn't take vacations, and I wasn't taking care of myself. And the next thing you know, he worked all his life, and now my mom had separated from him. Not knowing that my mom had separated just to scare him. She was always going to go back to him. My dad was a heart failure patient. She was just trying to get him to wake up. And she was out of town. I remember like it was yesterday. She was out of town in February of 2015. And she'd went to Branson, and they still were separated. It was still kind of a weird time. Um, and my dad had it was icy here in Oklahoma, and my dad had too many fluids, and he was swelling up because he's a heart failure patient. His heart couldn't pump like it needed to, and the ambulance came and picked him up, and I knew that he was alone, and I immediately drove on the icy roads, and I was the only one there with him. And my dad was a bought and sold cows. That's what he did for a living, bought and sold cows. And my other brothers, they were that's what they did. They really connected that way. For me though, I never really I wasn't into cows and stuff. It just wasn't my thing. And so me and my dad we never really connected on that level. And my dad went through with all kinds of stuff. He lost his mom at the age of 17. He was supposed to drive her. She had a seizure behind the wheel right before Christmas, and she passed and died in a car wreck. And my dad always suppressed that and held that in, never talked about it. In 2007, he found his best friend and his brother and partner in business. He busted down the door to find him dead of a heart attack. Never talked about it. We never discussed it. And so that event in 2015, with me being there for my dad, and it took its time, and I was letting him know that's when I created the Guerrilla Alliance, was right there in January of 2015, or actually March 2015. I was letting him know what I was going through and the changes that I was making, and that I'd realized. And we don't discuss our emotions, our feelings. We don't talk about it. We're so focused on business and kind of where I was going. And that event right there built our relationship back up. In 2016, my dad, he got sepsis, and it really zapped his heart in April of 2016. And by July, he was just in and out of the hospital. By July of 2016, the doctors had done everything they could. He was in and out of the hospital, and he stayed in the hospital for a long bout there for a couple of months. And I had to look at my dad in the eyes, and they called us out and told my sister and me that, there's nothing else we can do. We've done everything, and your dad is drowning. And I had to look at my dad in the eyes and let him know that there's nothing else that they could do for him. And that look is something still to this day that will I'll always remember. And it's what makes me do what I do today. Is my purpose is to lead men from a life full of regret. It's not just men. I coach women as well, but it's really women have it together. Women have it way better together than us guys do. We're hard headed. We think that we can't, like I said, express our emotions. And you think that a man is, oh, you gotta be tough and this and that. And it's a load of shit, really. And so for me, that's my purpose now. And that's what I do. I help men lead, and I lead them to a 4-dimensional lifestyle where they're investing in all areas of their life. I call it the Vital Four: their fitness, faith, family, and finances, and those 4 pillars. And I try to help them have some fun. Every week we try to find something that we fun. One of the things we don't do is, like, when you're a kid, you ride bikes, you do things, you play golf. And as men, majority of men, their fun is eating, drinks. And so we try to have not have the self-destructive fun, but find something where it's non-destructive and that we can enjoy ourselves. So that's kind of what that's what led me to where I am today, for sure.
I love Summer is one of our stalwarts here. She loves it. She says incredible story, and I totally agree with that. Absolutely incredible. Michelle says good morning.
Good morning.
So, incredible story, man. This is the second time I've heard it, and I'm like, I was just sitting here, absolutely absorbing every moment of it. And sorry, go ahead.
No, there's a lot more to it. Like through that stuff, of like 2017, I almost lost my business. Like all these events that have happened to me, I dealt with gambling addiction, and I dealt with just to try to sedate myself from dealing with the stress that I had. I didn't know how to handle stress, and smoking pot. I mean, everything you could think of, just to try to take my mind off and just have a little bit. And what I've realized is that you can add more to the plate, but all that's going to do is you're going to leave you overwhelmed, you're going to leave you more stressed. We don't need more information. So really what I help men do is I help them expand their capacity to deal with stress on a daily basis. by investing in themselves first, and then they can invest in other individuals and take care of what needs to be taken care of.
And you just touched on something. You and I, you used a term when we were on the phone of being a lighthouse.
Yeah.
And I love that. I
Yeah.
absolutely love that. And because for those of you guys who follow me, I talk about shining your light. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. And I talk a lot about that. And, I mentioned that to Seth on the phone, and Seth actually said, well, awesome, but I'm a lighthouse, bitch, kind of a deal. He was like, I'm not just shining my light. I'm sitting on the top of the mountain and I'm shining my light for everyone to see. And I love it, man. I absolutely love it, because we need more lighthouses. We need more of that for all of us to have something to shoot towards, and to see that, you know what, you weren't born at the top of the mountain. Seth wasn't, he didn't have the silver spoon. Seth had to climb his ass up that mountain, and how many
I'm
times
still
did he
trying to
fall
get there.
down?
Yeah, I'm still trying
Right.
to get there. For me, it's always, and that's what I look at. I look at people that are in the industry and and I do the same thing as that we're talking about. I look at them and go, man, look what they're doing, and then that fires me up, though, to keep pushing to be who I want to be and can be, that I know I can be.
Right.
For sure.
Right. So, well, then that brings my question: is who is Seth? I mean, who are you going to be? Where are you progressing to be right now then?
What I did was, for a long time, is I tried to lead on the outside and take over the world first. And right now it's taken over Yukon, Oklahoma, and making Yukon, Oklahoma the best it could possibly be. And then what I feel like is, if I could change myself, and then I can start helping with a family, and then next thing you know, you help a family, you can start helping a city, and start helping a state, and you can help. And then next thing, we're all helping each other. And that's what I feel like is like, it's all going to come. I don't know. I'm not going to try to read the future. I'm just going to do what I can do today and make sure I dominate what happens. Whatever I do today, I'm going to dominate and make sure that I show up my best. And I don't know if you've ever read the book, The Four Agreements. I just, to do your best on every single day, and your best is not going to be the best every day, but just do your best every single day, and you'll get to where you want to get to. And what I see, a lot of people are striving for perfection, and when they can't get perfection, it's stop and it's start and it's stop and it's start. What I want to help individuals realize is, like, it's just being consistent. And I hold myself to be the most consistent person that I know. And that might sound conceited or cocky, but that's all I can control. Is I can just control myself and just stay consistent with myself, and I know the rest will pay off in the end, for sure.
Well, man, and there's nothing conceited about it, because I've struggled for the majority of my life is this internal conflict between arrogance and confidence. This has been an internal conflict with me forever. Yep. And I'm just now, or at least I feel that I'm just now really starting to own my shit, own what I have, my talents and my abilities, because I've always had this misconception that if I say, yeah, I rock at this is something that, yeah, I've always had this thing in the back of my mind that says, well, now you're just being arrogant. Now you're just being pompous. Mm-hmm. And it's not. It's shining our light. It's saying this is what I'm great at, and so there's nothing conceited about that, brother.
Well, it's something I struggled with for a while, because with when I was younger, I didn't have confidence, and so it was fake confidence, and I would try to fake it, and my mom would always bring me back down and be like, you just got to be Seth, just be Seth. And so you go from that fake confidence and trying to exude that to just really being yourself. And so then now when I say something that seems like it's ego driven, it's hard. It's tough to be able to be your biggest fan at the same time, not shoo people away from it, right, at the same time. Right. If that makes sense.
Right. Well, yeah, because it's okay. So here's why it's hard for me to be my biggest fan is because I know all the skeletons in the closet. I know all of the faults in the, yeah. Whereas, a lot of other people I'm not saying they have rose-colored glasses, but they look and they see us for our good. It's easy for us, not easy, it's right for us to say, okay, you have faults, but that's being human. Let it go. And I love you for who you are. I respect you for who you are. But when we look at ourselves, there is no rose colored glasses. A lot of times we beat ourselves up so bad about the things that we should be letting go of ourselves.
I wrote a post today is darkness leads you to light, and so that your darkness leads you to light. And so like I shine on both sides. Like on my darkness, I love that side of myself, but I also love that light side of myself too. And you have to have both. If you don't have both, then that darkness is going to steal away. It's going to come and take it away one way. It's kind of like holding a beach ball underneath water. It's going to all explode up in your face if you don't just. And a lot of times I was scared to admit the stuff because I felt like I had to be somebody else, or what would people think if they knew this and knew that. And now it's just like, if I can stand on a table at the end of the day and everybody can just say what you have to say about me. What I want it to be is Seth's already said everything that needs to be said. There's nothing you can really say. He's been real about it all. And
Right.
that was something that I'm still walking into and learning more about myself, and it's okay not to be that.
So let me ask you
About it.
this. So you're the second person now that I've had on here talk about this. Nancy Ray Allen is a high level coach. She's out of Idaho, and she talks about your light side and your shadow. She talks a lot about
Uh-huh.
shadow, which is pretty much the same thing that you just talked about. How did you come into being okay with and accepting, and if nothing else, living in that darkness as well? How did you, I mean, because most of us, we're trying to shove that in the closet. We're trying to be our good side and, forgetting our bad side.
Because it's almost it's almost suffocating to live and not be who you are. And for me, and it goes back to it was, I know that I was invented to be a coach. I know that's what God put me on this life to be. And I know that my trials, I had to go through everything that I went through depression, through gambling, through all the stuff that I had to go through getting in trouble. I had to go through that so I could be able to lead the guys that I coach today. That if I didn't ever go through that, then who the hell would I be able to go, hey man, you need to do this, or this? It'd be fake. It wouldn't be honest. It wouldn't be real. And if they don't know that, and they don't know that I went through that stuff, and they don't know that I've had my issues, then it's all for naught, and it's not getting anywhere. And that's really, for me, that's what I was just. It got exhausting, really. And there was a book that I read called Inventions that really made me realize what I was invented for. But it also, and it just is like, it just, another one of those books just slapped me upside the head and was like, dude. And I went through it and was like, so yeah, that for me, it's like, I know that all the stuff is like, you've got to own that's the stuff you had to go through to be able to be the leader that you're designed to be, for sure.
Absolutely. And for the longest time, and I still have days, but, for the longest time, I would talk down about that part of who I am, the dumb shit that goes on and, blah, 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 blah. And,
Uh-huh.
and one of my mentors, Andy Smith, I think you'd love him. He pulled me aside one day. He's like, Dale, shut it. Just stop. I was in the middle of, ranting about something that I was struggling with. He's like, stop. He said, Dale, you're human.
Yeah.
Humans mess up every stinking day. And
Yeah.
whether you want to go to the Bible side or just reality side, it's just we screw up and we make
Yeah.
mistakes and we say stupid things and we falter and we fall and we get back up. And the point is you get back up. You just get back up. Period.
And with everything that I do on a daily basis, there's lessons to learn. It's
Yeah.
lessons on every single thing. So like right now, I'm doing a 60-hour fast, a 60-hour water fast. I'm not eating any foods or anything. And yesterday I learned all kinds of lessons. Like I was only like 12, 13 hours in, and I'm sitting here thinking, oh, I need to eat, and I'm getting in a grouchy mood and things like that. And I'm thinking, all the people around the globe who go through not being able to eat and not being able to. And it's just like, dude, you're choosing not to eat. Like I have a kitchen that was making food, like I can go get it at any time. I'm choosing not to eat, and I'm putting myself in this negative space when when people are dealing with stuff on a daily basis. And so that was a huge lesson for me. That's like moving forward after I get done with the 60-hour fast is like I have a choice in everything that I put in my body moving forward. Like it's super easy to eat healthy when you're not eating for 60 hours. Like I look at all the food and go, oh, I'd love to eat that broccoli and all that stuff right now. You know what I mean? So that's just
It
the
all looks
lessons.
good.
Yeah. And so it's lessons. And that's something I coach you with as well is having a positive reframe on every situation is like, what happened? Like what happened? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why is that a positive? What can you take from that right now? And then what's the lesson that you can learn from it? And if we can change the filter of our thoughts, so when you have a thought, change that. It's like a filter, like that positive thinking changes that thought. Those thoughts change the way that you feel. Those feelings change the way that you believe, and those beliefs change your results. What I see with a majority of people is they're trying to change their results without changing their beliefs. And that the first thing you have to be able to do is you have to go in and you have to question your thoughts on a daily basis, especially entrepreneurs. You have to protect your confidence. You have to protect your energy on a daily basis.
I love it. I love it. Dude, our half hour's up, man. Can you believe that?
Is it really?
That's insane. Insane. That means good things are happening. That just means that this is, but I do want to share a couple things that people are mentioning here. So Michelle says more wisdom. Absolutely. Michelle also says self-love. Um, and of course Summer Chaffin said, welcome to Kickassery, and she's excited to hear what you had to say. And I have been, man, as soon as John mentioned you, he connected us, and then you were, like I said, you were so gracious to take a minute and spend some time on the phone, and then jump on here to share your wisdom and your story and your energy and just your kickassery, with everybody. I really appreciate that, man. Really
I
do.
appreciate you. I appreciate you having me on. It was fun, and dude, that was the quickest 30 minutes I've ever experienced.
Isn't it
For sure,
crazy? I
it was
love it.
nuts.
And it just once again validates that this is right. This is good.
Yeah.
So with that, couple minutes here. What's your takeaway? What's a little nugget? I mean, there's a gajillion of them already, but what's a takeaway exit nugget for everyone, boss?
We're all the same. There's nothing about you that's any different than anybody else. We have different stories, but when it boils down to it, we're all the same.
That right there is a conversation for another day, because I would love to expand on that right there, because that's something I'm going through a crazy growth right now on elevating myself and letting go of a lot of this, me putting other people on pedestals. And with whether it's right here or it's my body language thing or whatever it is,
Yeah.
I'm going through this growth where I'm telling myself, and I'm not there. I'm a process, right? But
We all are. We all are.
yeah. Is that I'm becoming more okay with reaching out to high achievers like yourself. 2 months ago, brother, to be honest with you, 2 months ago, I wouldn't have had the balls to respond back to you. I wouldn't have, because I'd be like, why would Seth want it?
It's the same. I've had coaches, I've had people that I followed on Facebook and stuff. And they don't even know that I followed them. What I started doing is giving back that credit. It's because when people give me love, like Seth, you've helped me do this, is like it blows me away and it makes me feel so good. So like, man, I'm a thief by not going back to those people that have helped me and go, dude, you've helped me out so much, and it all pays off in the end. We all benefit from it from the end. So we're all like I said, we're no different, because I deal with the same stuff.
There you go, man.
Absolutely.
There you go. I appreciate you being open and honest, man, and being authentic.
I appreciate you.
Because there's a lot of folks, man. There's a lot of folks that would have just said, would have just preached,
Yep.
and done that instead of saying, no, I'm right there with you. You have a success that I don't, and I'm attaining to get to that level, but you're just like, yeah, dude, we're good. No worries. So Seth, thank you very much. I really, really appreciate you, man. Could you do me a favor? Do you mind when we're all finished here putting your contact info or what you feel comfortable with down in the comments so people can reach out to you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Awesome, man. So, Seth, thank you, brother. Hang out for just a minute. I'm going to wrap this up, and then you and I have just a minute or two to talk afterwards. Is that cool?
That'll work.
All
Absolutely.
right, man. Everybody, how freaking awesome was that? I mean, this dude, it took time for us to give his information, to tell us an amazing story, to just share with us, and I'm very humbled that he was willing to do that. So everyone else, once again, this is Kick Assery, and this is what we do. We go out and we talk to people, and we get amazing nuggets, and we get amazing stories, and I'm super stoked. I'm going to throw this out to you guys. I threw this out. Honestly, how Seth and I got connected was I threw it out and I said, hey guys, do you know someone who should be on here with me and needs to share their story? And John Mayhew said, yes, I do. You need to get a hold of this guy, and he connected us. So this works. It does. And I know you guys got some amazing information out of this. If nothing else, his story is inspirational, if nothing else. But I took a lot out of this. So guys, have an amazing day. Go out and kick some ass and keep smiling because somebody's going to need it. I'll talk to you soon.